Dear student, welcome back to your mathematics class. Today we'll discuss chapter 8 fractions. Short question 15 to 27. Earlier we have discussed 14 short questions. First one is, how do we get equivalent fractions? Getting equivalent fractions is very important for us for different types of calculation. So how do we get equivalent fraction? Equivalent fractions can be obtained by multiplying numerator and the denominator of the fraction by the same number, or equivalent fraction can be obtained by dividing numerator and the denominator of the fraction by the same number. That means in two ways we can get the equivalent fraction, by multiplying the numerator and the denominators of the fraction by the same number, or dividing the numerators and the denominators of the fraction by the same number. But here you have to keep in mind if the factor is divisible or not. If it is not divisible, then you multiply. If it is divisible, then you divide. So look here for the example. Equivalent fraction can be obtained by multiplying numerator and denominator. So here 1 by 1 second, this is the fraction, so we multiply that one by 2 and here also by 2, then we got 2/4, the fraction 2/4. Okay, this is equivalent to 1 second. Again, look here, 1 second, this is a fraction, we multiplied that one by 3 and 3, so it is 3 by 6. This is also equivalent to 1 second. Again here 1 second, this is the fraction, we multiplied this one by 4 and 4, we got 4/8. This is also equivalent to 1 second. So all of these are equivalent fraction. In that way, by multiplying the numerator and the denominators of a fraction by different same number, we can get equivalent fraction. Now equivalent fraction can be obtained by dividing numerator and denominator of the fractions by the same number. How we get 6/12, this is the fraction, given fraction. From this fraction we have to get the equivalent fractions. So 6/12, if we divide this by 2 by the same number, we get 3/6, 3/6. So this fraction is equivalent to 6/12. Then if we again divide this 6/12 fraction by 3 and 3, same number, then we get 2/4. This is also equivalent to 6/12 fraction. If we then divide this one by 6 and 6, then we get 1/2. This is also equivalent to 1/12 fraction. So how it is equivalent? If we reduce 6 by 12, then we will get all of these fractions. Find the missing numbers. 1 second, the fraction, this one is box 12, this is missing, here this is missing. So how do we get the missing fraction? Look here, this is the 12, this is the 12. So at first we try to get the 12 multiplying the denominator, because here denominator is given. If we multiply the denominators 2 by 6, then we get 12. So we also multiply the numerator by 6, then we will get 6. So it will be 6 by 12. So in the gap, missing digit will be 6. Here also look, 3/4 and 12 box. So what's happened? Here numerator is given 12. So we multiply the 3 with such a number so that we get 12. So we know 3/4 are 12. So if we multiply 3 by 4, then we'll get 12. Then we multiply 4 by 4, then we'll get 16. So this is the missing number. So always which number is given opposite the box, you try to get that number by multiplying the numerator or the denominator of the given fraction. In that way you will get the missing number. Find the missing number. Look here, here we got the missing number by multiplying, but here we will get the missing number by dividing. 3/9, this is the given fraction. So here it is 3, so it is 9. If we divide 9 by 3, then we get 3. So you divide 3 by 3, then we get 1. So missing number is 1. So 4/12 is given, one box is given. So how do we get the missing number? If we divide 4 by 4, then we will get 1. So we divide 4 by 4, then we will divide 12 by 4, then we get 3, so it is 1/3. So missing number is 3. Make 5 equivalent fraction of 2 by 5. We already told how to get the equivalent fraction. If the fraction is divisible, then you can divide the fraction. If the fraction is not divisible, then you can multiply the fractions numerator and the denominator by the same number. If it is not divisible, if it is divisible, then you divide the numerator and the denominator by the same number. If it is not divisible, then you multiply the numerator and the denominator by the same number. So in that way you will get the equivalent fraction. Here we multiply 2 by 5 at first by 2, then by 3, then by 4, then by 5, then by 6. In that way we got the equivalent fraction. 4 by 10, 6 by 15, 18 by 20, 10 by 25, 12 by 30. All of them are equivalent to 2 by 5. If you reduce all of them, then it will be equal to 2/5. So in that way we will get the equivalent fraction. Make 3 equivalent fraction of 12, 18 by dividing numerator and the denominator by the same number. We have to divide the numerator and denominator by the same number, and we have to get the 5 equivalent fraction in that way. So at first we divide by 2, then we divide by 3, then we divide the numerator and denominator by 4. By 4 we cannot divide because we can divide 12, but we cannot divide 18, so we divide it by 6. Okay, in that way we got the equivalent fraction 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 equivalent fraction we got, 3 equivalent fraction we got. So in that way you can get the equivalent fraction also. What is called reducing a fraction? What is called reducing a fraction? Sometimes the child does reduce the fraction, but what do we mean by reducing a fraction? At first we try to understand this. Dividing the numerator and the denominator by the same number in order to make a fraction with a smaller denominator is called reducing a fraction. So you have to the smallest denominator, you have to make the smallest denominator. Look here, 15 18th. This is the given fraction, 15 18th. If we divide 15 by 3 and 18 by 3, we got 5/6. This fraction, so it is reduced. It is reduced until which digit will reduce. Okay, we'll do it so that cannot be reduced anymore. That cannot be reduced anymore. There will be no common factors of the numerator and the denominators until we'll reduce. Reduce 16 20. Okay, 16 20. At first we divide it by 2, 16 by 2, 20 by 2, then we'll get 8 10th, then we divide it again, 8 by 2 and 10 by 2, we got 4/5. So it cannot be reduced anymore because there is no common factor of 4, and we cannot reduce it anymore because it is 4 and it is 5. There is no common factor by which we can divide 4 and 5. Reduce the following into the lowest term. So we'll reduce that one, 24 36th, 40 60th. So we'll divide that one. We will divide 24 by 2, then that one also by 2. We got 12 and 18. Again we divide this one numerator and denominator by 2. Then we got 6 and 9th. Then again we divide 6 by 3 and 9 by 3. Then we got 2 by 3. We cannot reduce it anymore because there is no common factor of 2 and 3 that can divide 2 and 3 again. So it is reduced. Then 40 20. 40 and 60th. So 40 we can divide 40 by 20, 60 by 20. Directly we can get 2/3. Or we can do like this one, at first 2 again 2 again 2 again 2 in that way. Or directly we can do by the greatest factor, then we'll get it easily. Okay, so it is reduced because 2 and 3 there is no common factor which can divide 2 and 3. While reducing the fraction, we have to make the denominators as small as possible and get the lowest term of the fraction. I have mentioned it earlier. Okay, we have to reduce it in such a way so that there will be no common factor that can divide 2 and 3 again. That can divide the numerator and the denominator again until until getting that digit will reduce. While reducing the fraction, we have to make the denominators as small as possible and get the lowest term of the fraction. From the above example, you understood that one. Okay, look here. How to find the common denominators? Getting common denominators is very beneficial for us for some types of calculation, but we have to know how can we get that one. There are 3 steps: first step, second step, and third step. Okay, following these 3 steps, we can easily get the common denominator. First step: at first you will find the LCM of the denominators of the given fraction. Secondly, you will divide the LCM of the denominators by each of the denominators of the given fraction. And finally, you will multiply both the numerators and the denominators of the given fraction by the division result of the second step. So you will understand, we are going to do it practically. Look here, convert 3/5 and 2/3 into fraction with common denominators. Solution 3/5 and 2/3 written. So at first we try to find out the LCM. LCM of the denominators of a given fraction. This is the first step. We got the LCM here. You know the process. We told it earlier in the chapter multiple and factors how to get the LCM. So we got LCM 50. Now the second step, we divide the LCM by the denominators of the fraction. Okay, we got the result. Then with the divisional result, this is the third step, we multiply the numerator and the denominator of the given fraction. Here also we multiply the numerator and the denominator by the given fraction. Then we get the fraction with common denominators. Answer 9/15 and 10/15. What are the benefits if we know how to convert fraction into fraction with common denominators? There are 2 benefits. It will enable us to find larger and smaller of the fraction, to do subtraction and not addition, it is addition. Look here, so sometimes we have to compare which fraction is larger, which fraction is smaller. So if we know to get the common denominators, it will help us, and at the same time it will help us to to do the subtraction and addition. Later you know how can it help us to do practically subtraction and addition. How will we add and subtract fraction with different denominators? If we get the fractions with different denominators, how will we add or subtract? To add or subtract fraction with different denominators, firstly we will convert fraction into fraction with common denominators, then calculate. So first we have to convert the given fractions into common denominator fractions with common denominator, then we will do the calculation. In that way we can do the addition and subtraction of the given fractions of different denominators. Look here, 1/4 and 1/3, 2 fractions are given to do addition with different denominators. So at first we will get the LCM of the denominators. We find the LCM of 4 and 3. In the process of getting LCM 12. So the LCM is 12. Now our first step is to convert the given fraction into fraction with same denominators. So following the process of converting to same denominators, we have done this one. So now 3/12 and 4/12, these are fraction with common denominators. Now we'll do the calculation. 1/4 plus 1/3 equal fraction with common denominators 3/12 plus 4/12. So 12 is here, and if we add 3 and 4, it is 7. In that way we can do also subtraction. SW is given. Practice, discuss short question at home. Which short question is given here today from 15 to 27. You'll note it down in your SW copies and practice it at home. This is your SW. Wait for the next class. Until then, Allah Hafiz.